All right, Doodle and Chat, hello and welcome to Doodle and Chat with Friends. We are very excited to have the wonderful Mandy Froehlich with us tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited about this. Been waiting all day. So excited.
That's awesome.
Waiting all day and waiting to the night, right?
Yeah, late into the night. Yes.
Late into the night.
Yeah.
Well, let me share. Oh, go ahead. No, keep going.
I was just gonna see. It feels like 2 a.m. to me right now.
It's
well, hopefully we keep it jazzy for you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, let me share just a little bit about Mandy to get started tonight. So, with the recent focus on educator wellness, I'm excited to talk to the person who likely started the movement to focus on educator mental health. We got that from a reliable source, I will say.
Okay.
Mandy is the author.
Not my website, just so we're all clear. I'm not claiming to be the birthplace of mental health, just so it wasn't my website. But keep going. I like what you're saying.
It was somebody else. So Mandy started in education in a FACS classroom and then moved to elementary school. She is currently an independent consultant who works in education in the private sector on burnout, professional engagement, mental health, and educational technology solutions. She's the author of 3 books, The Fire Within, Divergent EDU, and Reignite the Flames. In addition to providing support and encouragement to educators through her books, she also enjoys presenting at conferences, especially keynotes, because she can help create better learning experiences for students. I think this is amazing because she used to have a fear of public speaking until she got to college. So that's pretty cool. So not only do we share the same name, but we also share a love of coffee. So according to Mandy, we get to be friends. So I am so excited to welcome Mandy Froehlich to Doodle and Chat tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. That was an amazing intro. Like I loved it. One of my favorites ever. So thank you for that. And it's such a pleasure being here. Honestly, when Carrie asked me, I was like, yes, I want to do that. I always see those things and I never consider myself like a creative or being able to draw person. And so I was nervous, but I was super excited because I love anything Carrie, and it's been such a pleasure to meet you, Mandy. So thank you for having me.
Oh, I love anything Carrie too.
Yeah, she's amazing. One of my favorites for sure.
Aw, I'm going to blush. Well, for those of us who are new to us or even just joining us tonight, we have the bowl that knows filled with questions that are special just for Mandy, as well as a few random ones that neither Mandy, I know about. So we're gonna turn our cameras on. We're gonna pull from the bowl that knows and hear the questions that it gives to Mandy. And as Mandy gives us her answers, we'll draw and doodle and chat all about her. And if you're here watching with us, whether it's live or in a recording, we welcome you to put your pen to paper, draw along with us with Mandy's answers, or draw your own answers to our questions, and then share it out on Twitter or Instagram using hashtag Doodle and Chat. I am so excited.
I am too.
All right, let's
get started. Okay.
Can you turn my cameras on?
Yes, I can.
Oh my gosh, you guys do live doodles? Yeah. That's right, I totally forgot. Okay, so I'm going to say this right now. I am scared to death of this doodling thing, but I think that this is really important because I'm doing it anyway, okay? And that's the part that matters. And so, like, I have been, one of my best friends in the whole world is Tisha Richmond. Clearly doodles all the time, works with Canva, like all of the things. And I watch her and I'm always amazed at what she does so quickly. And like, you know, like you guys do as well. And so, but I won't ever do it in front of her or show her what I do because I'm always so embarrassed. Then I think that's important to recognize because like sometimes you still have to put yourself in those situations in order to get past those fears anyway. So just wanted to put that out there. And yeah, that was like a whole fear factor thing when you guys showed your screens. I'm like, please don't ask me to show my screen. So just throw that out there.
Okay. You won't have to, but doodle away. So the whole idea is just to connect some images with your thoughts, and it's whatever you want.
All right. I got it. I'm on it.
Awesome. And I always like to say too, you know, if the drawing of things is intimidating, talk bubbles and thought bubbles with words in it are just as much doodles as images are too. So
okay. All right. I think that's great because those little things, I think, like, I love what you said, if it's overwhelming, like there are some things that are, if you really are afraid of something and you consider yourself not good at it, it is overwhelming to try. I often think that about math even, and how kids who have themselves convinced that they're not good at math, how overwhelming math actually is. And so I love that you recognize that it can be overwhelming for people. So thank you for that. Okay, but I'm ready.
All right.
I have my pencil. All right.
Okay.
Ready for the first question?
Yes.
If animals could talk, which one would be the rudest?
I go somewhere between a donkey and a porcupine, like one of those two things. Like, I feel like, so we have a llama farm down the road from us. We have llamas that are our neighbors, and there's 2 donkeys in there, and they are always braying. Is that what donkeys do? They bray, right? They're always braying, and I always feel like every time they're braying, they're saying something really rude. Like they're like yelling at the llamas alpacas. We have alpacas, not llamas. They're yelling at the alpacas or something like that. And then porcupines, just because I feel like they look like they would be rude, like they have spikes, right?
They do.
Yeah. So
the donkey look like a chicken. Do donkeys' ears stick up?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah, they do.
And they have like don't you usually see like the donkeys with teeth? Like, isn't that?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yes, they have horse teeth. Like, think donkey and Shrek.
Yeah. Right? Okay, mine is kind of looking like a dragon though. So I mean, it's fine. It's whatever. It's gonna be fine. See, we're here just to make you feel better already. Like, oh wow, my guy he's struggling. So we may have to put a title that says donkey.
All right. You know what else could be rude too? I bet are sloths, because they look like they wouldn't be rude. They would look like they would be sweet and kind, but I bet you they're not. I bet you in the animal world, they're actually super rude.
I had somebody the other day who said that their fear was sloths, and I was like, a sloth?
Yeah, my eldest son actually is afraid of sloths as well, and so I buy him everything sloth. Like, he's moving into a different apartment because he's going to med school in a month, and I bought him a like yearly calendar of sloths to move in with, because I just think, how can you be afraid of sloths? They're slow. There's literally no way they can attack you.
You don't know that.
That's what he would say, huh?
That's right.
Yeah. Said they're terrifying.
Else that we have in common. I have a daughter who is getting ready to be done with medical school and go into her residency. So,
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool.
Well, this is definitely two things that I did not think I would be drawing with your name tonight, Mandy.
Oh, I like how you put it around my name. That's awesome.
I have mixed feelings about that vision. On the table now, so we're gonna go with it.
out of context, I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Oh, I was thinking about this. I'm like, I'm gonna tweet this with a donkey's name. It's not good. I almost started over, but I'm like, no, we're gonna go with it.
Mandy Froehlich is a complete hee-haw. Yeah. Now I know how you feel.
Yeah, and there's a porcupine next to the woman who talks about wellness. It says, "Come at me."
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. You're not hurting my mental health at all by putting me inside a donkey. Whatever.
The porcupine's my favorite. I'm not even sure I drew its face right, but it looks cute.
I know.
My donkey
My
looks like a
porcupine
demon.
there. He's okay.
Donkeys and horses, they're like ridiculously hard to draw.
Oh, listen, my donkey's bad.
Bad. No, that's a sheep.
Bad.
He's not.
He's not a sheep, but he's bad.
Although he could twin with a giraffe, probably.
Yes, the way his neck
Oh, mine just looked like a little demon, so I'm going to try mine again.
Mandy, what does your arrow say?
Rude scale.
Nice.
And this is just a quick possum. I definitely can do better possums, but
We had a possum from another episode. That last time we got the question. I forget who said that.
we do. And like I said, I definitely can do a better possum, but that's what we're getting tonight. So
I think one of our other friends had a possum that said the possum was rude.
yeah. Oh no, it wasn't a possum, it was a sloth. That's probably what I was thinking, was the possum from the last episode. Here, let me erase that because I can do that with Procreate. Sloth. What does a sloth look like?
It's like it hangs like this, but with both its arms and its legs.
Oh, okay. Whoa. Okay.
So like the head is turning out, looking at us, and then the arms go up, and then an oval body. You know, easy peasy, nothing to it. That's why I'm gonna watch you draw it.
They have like big eyes, right?
I draw everything with big eyes, so I don't know if it does or not.
I don't either.
Uh-oh, we lost Mandy for a second.
Oh no.
She'll get back.
Okay. You know what? It's not going as well as I had hoped.
Uh-oh, where's our Mandy? There she is. Can you let her in? Thanks, Phil.
Sorry about that, friends.
Okay. You came back. That's important.
I was so offended by being a donkey that I'm like, I'm just leaving.
I know.
She's like, peace out. No donkey for me.
I tried. Then.
All right. Well, I think I have slaughtered all three of those animals. Oh, that's a bad way to say it. I think I have poorly drawn all three of those animals as much as I can. So
on to the next question.
All right. I'm ready.
No more animals, Bull, please.
Okay. Oh, not another random one. What is the best pair of shoes you have owned?
Ooh.
Oh. to try to explain these. Okay. They were a pair of best pair of shoes. Is that really what you said? Best pair of shoes? Okay.
Mhm.
Just wanted to make sure that I didn't misunderstand it and started just to describe shoes because that would be weird. They were a pair of Mary Janes with a gold strap over the top. And they were black and had almost like an oriental embroidery all over them. They were awesome. They matched with everything. They made any outfit better. They were like super comfortable. And I wore them until they were falling apart. And I even looked for another pair to buy. That's how much I loved these shoes. I had an attachment and I could not find them again.
So Mary Jane's had the strap, right?
Yeah, so they had no, they have a strap going across the top, like to keep them to help hold them on. Yeah. So, and they kind of a pointy toe too. Oh, shoes are hard to draw.
Oh yeah, that's exactly the feeling I'm having right now. Did they have a heel or were they flat?
They were flat. Okay, that looks like a tape dispenser.
You're on the right track.
Mine's feeling the same way. So did you say that they were black Mary Janes?
Yeah, they were black. It was like it wasn't, remember how Mary Janes used to be patent leather a long time ago? They were not like that. Yeah, they were not like that. They were like just kind of an updated version of that. And so they were like a material kind of.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so like if I scuffed them, the material started to tear. So.
Yeah, those, I don't even know. I'm interested to see what these other Mary Janes are looking like.
Well, they don't look like the shoe that I drew.
Oops, mine
I
neither.
did put the gold strap on it though, so.
Yeah, no, it's just.
Oh, yeah, I see that. Yeah, that's very close.
Struggle bus. Mm-hmm.
And you said they had some accents on them?
Yeah, it looked like that really pretty oriental type patterning like you see on, I don't know, tapestries and things like that. Like it looked kind of like that. So,
you know, probably just going to be a black shoe at this point in time because
we probably should have put the shoes on the donkey.
I had considered that as well.
Yeah.
My donkey does not have legs because I was struggling with the face. So
well, see, now we're just getting the hardest things to draw out in the open right from the beginning.
There we go.
The bull knows.
Are we ready?
The bull.
The bull always knows.
I think we're ready for another one.
Okay.
I do
Yeah,
too.
I'm ready.
Okay.
What makes a great cup of at-home coffee, and when you aren't at home, what is your go-to coffee fix?
That's easy because I drink it 17 times a day. I do the Starbucks Sumatra pods. Those are my go-to. And then I put fake sugar in it. So I put Truvia in it. And then I put sugar-free International Delight. It like cream something in it. Which is funny because I'll usually drink it with like a cookie. So it's hilarious that I put all of the fake sugar in it and have sugar-free stuff. Like it's completely an ironic statement of trying to act like I'm sugar-free, which is completely untrue. I don't know how to find gold. I'm still working on the shoes. I'm not even to the coffee yet. Mandy, how do you take your coffee?
Of a morning, I usually drink a black.
Oh,
And then I know. And then
that's
in the
badass.
afternoon, because I usually have coffee in the afternoon as well, I have right now some peppermint mocha nut pods. So it's an unsweetened creamer. It's almond milk and coconut milk, but it's peppermint mocha flavored. It's so good.
Interesting. Where do you get something like that?
I order it from the Nut Pods company. So it started off just a little company, and like they had like vanilla and hazelnut and some of that. And then they came out with peppermint mocha. That's how they got me, because I love peppermint mocha. But I don't like the sugar that you get like if you go to a coffee shop. And so I ordered it, and man, I was hooked. And so now that's what I use all the time. But
that sounds interesting. Carrie, do you drink coffee?
I do like coffee. I found there's I'm not like a really big butterscotch person, but Target brand has a really great butterscotch coffee. So I like that with I forget what it is. Some kind of like creamer. It's just like a creamy creamer. I forget what it is. It's like in a white bottle with a blue. I forget what it's called. I go for all the sugar. So that's my new favorite. So I'll have 2 cups in the morning, and then I'm done. If I had coffee this late in the day, I would be shaking, and I wouldn't be able to sleep. But I do really like coffee a lot.
Yes.
There is also nothing like getting a cup of coffee with that right cookie that goes along with the flavor. You make that mashup perfect, and it's just like, it's delightful.
Do you know what my absolute favorite thing in the whole world is at Christmas time? I love the Christmas M&Ms, like the mint M&Ms. It can't be the everyday mint M&Ms. Those are different than the Christmas mint M&Ms. And I love to eat those with coffee. Sometimes I'll put them right in my coffee, which totally negates the non-sugar thing. But they are so good with coffee. That is like a huge vice for me.
Yum.
Yeah.
So tell me, so you said Starbucks brand, and what was it?
The Sumatra.
And if I remember correctly, that's a dark roast, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I am also a dark roast fan.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, you do it black, so that doesn't surprise me at all. I just tasted at Starbucks for the very first time. I usually order white chocolate mochas, and I just tried their toasted white chocolate mocha, which tastes like toasted marshmallow in a cup.
Ooh.
It is the most amazing thing I've ever tasted. So it's besides M&Ms and coffee, but it literally tastes like they roast a marshmallow and put it in the cups. You have to try it if you like roasted marshmallow.
It sounds delicious.
So another flavor that Nut Pods has is toasted marshmallow.
Really? I'm gonna have to check out this Nut Pods thing.
No, it's a non-dairy
flavor
because I try to limit the dairy, and that's just for everybody else's benefits. But I love Nut Pods.
Huh.
I love Nut Pods. They're one of my favorite creamers.
Huh. Yeah, I'll definitely have to try it. I just ordered some new coffee to try that is mushroom coffee. And it's supposed to have like all of these benefits that I don't think it's psychedelic mushrooms, unfortunately. Like it could, that would be a whole nother experience with coffee, but it's like natural, it's supposed to be all natural, and it's made with mushrooms that have a bunch of different health benefits. So I'm excited to try that. We'll see how that goes.
Was it the Four Sigmatic brand, or was it one of the others? Do you remember?
I don't recognize that. I'd have to look at it. I literally just ordered it today. But yeah, it looks interesting.
Have you tried mushroom coffee, Mandy?
I haven't.
Oh, okay.
I haven't. I've looked into it though, because I personally don't like mushrooms. They gross me out. And so I thought, if I could drink mushroom in my coffee, I don't think I can do it.
It's called Rise, RYZE. That's the stuff that I ordered.
Okay. I haven't seen that one.
But I also hate mushrooms. I cannot, they're fungus. I don't understand why people don't understand that. Like, it's fungus. You find fungus between your toes. Like, isn't mold a type of fungus? Like, nothing about fungus is good. Why would you eat that?
I tell
Doesn't make
people that
any
all the
sense
time.
to me.
I'm like, I want pizza without fungus.
Yes.
That's exactly what I say too.
And yet I like mushrooms, but the thought of ordering coffee made of mushrooms is nothing I would do. But you two are just like, let's have coffee made out of mushrooms.
I said I would try it. I don't think I would like it, but I said I would try it.
For me, it's the consistency of mushrooms.
Yes,
when
yes. Gross.
Yes. Like, I would never eat snails.
Fungus. It's nasty.
Yeah. No. That's not made to be eaten. There's some things that are not made to be eaten.
I agree. Something. Mushrooms are one of them.
Yes.
You two crack me up. All right, kid. I think we're ready for another question.
Melody gave us a joke.
Yes.
It says, why did the girl mushroom like the boy mushroom? Because he was a fun guy.
Thank you, Melody.
Thanks, Melody.
Do you want me to read this one?
All this time I was missing the
chat.
Private chat. We've got Melody and Monica here with us. All right, Annabeth passed the question to me because it's a long one. In your book, Reignite the Flames, you share stories, advice, and inspiration for re-engaging with the love of learning and teaching. What is one thing an educator struggling with their love for learning and or teaching could start to help their re-engaging?
So I think that there's a lot of things I could say, right? Like, there's start to work on your resilience and start to do self-care and all those kinds of things. And I agree with all of that. But I think that there's a step that we often miss in the beginning of that. And that is actually taking some time to reevaluate, like, this sounds really big, but who you are as a human, outside of the labels that you traditionally carry around of yourself. So, who are you outside of being a mom? Who are you outside of being a teacher? Who are you outside of that? Because one of the things that I really struggled with self-care when I started talking about it and needing to heal kind of from my own journey of emotionally disengaging from my work was that one of the reasons I bucked against self-care so hard at first was because I didn't know what I liked to do anymore. I was so busy all the time with working full time and going to school, and I had 4 kids and all of the things. And I never, ever took the time to even remember what it was that I liked to do. And then when I did try to remember, I realized that all the things I liked to do were no longer a part of my life. I used to horseback ride. I couldn't do that anymore. We didn't own horses. We didn't have enough money for me to board one. Like, I had kids. I couldn't just up and go to a barn for 3 hours, And so part of it was really an issue of lacking self-awareness in that area, and also an embarrassment of not really being able to tell people what I liked to do. Who I was as a human outside of being a parent and being a teacher. And so, even taking a step back from all the resilience things that we talk about, the boundaries and all of that stuff, the first thing that you need is some quiet time with yourself to figure out who you even are anymore. Because you're probably in the space that you're in because you don't know. And so that's, that would be my recommendation. So draw that existential answer. Well, remove time and space and look at yourself and find out. The older I get, the more I figure out that my problems aren't so much about the people around me as they are with just not understanding myself. And the better I understand myself, the more I'm able to make better decisions for me and the people around me. So
I will agree. Especially I think I'm finding that as my children get older and they go through some of their struggles, you realize it awakens some things in your own self. Or they're old enough to even call you on some of your faults, right? Like, Mom, you realize that that's really not healthy that you're doing that. And they're like, but I've done it my whole life and I call it this. It's so funny and it's, it's part of my personality. And then you're like, whoa, I need to address this. Like, I need to address this with myself, So it takes.
Yeah, it does. And I've had the same thing, like when your kids start to get older. And so, for example, like one of the things that I often have negative self-talk, not only in my head, but out loud about my weight and body type. And my girls will call me on it all the time. And they started doing it about 2 years ago. And they would just blatantly say, like, seriously, Mom, like you're being ridiculous. You look great. We wish you wouldn't say things like that. They would just blatantly call me on it. And at first I was taken aback. Like, who do you think you are telling me that I shouldn't think I'm fat? That type of a thing. And then the more they said it, the more I thought, this is not something I want them to internalize. Like, this is not a memory I want them to have of me, that they grow up one day and they say to their kids, I don't talk about my weight because my mom talked about her weight all the time. And so there's a like love-hate relationship when your kids do that to you. And like, it takes some getting through your own ego in order to be able to accept that information.
Agreed. I've had that as you were talking about that. I wish everybody could have seen Annabeth's face because she was just, her head was down and she was just smiling and she's like, been there with my mom too. It's hardcore, right? It's a life gives you a lot of lessons if you're open to it, but you have to be open to it for sure and accepting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whew. It's getting a wee bit emotional here. But in the best way. Should we see what else the bowl has?
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, you guys wrote long questions.
Can we read this one also?
Yeah.
I know which ones these are. Oh, the bowl wants you to talk about all your awesome books today, Mandy.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Well, so here, let me give you the question.
Okay.
So there are 5 characteristics of a divergent teacher, from deeply reflective, ferocious learner, tenacious mentor, and courageous. For educators out there striving to be divergent educators, what are some changes they could start to make tomorrow that will impact their teaching and move them to being a more divergent teacher?
Sure. So the first thing I'm going to say is, of course, your mental health, which makes sense. And I think the number one strangest question I get about my work is from people that say something to the effect of, so you mean you talk about ed tech and innovation and you talk about mental health? You were a tech director. Like, how does that work? And I'm always like, seriously, you don't see the connection between technology and innovation and mental health. Like, there is a very strong, very clear connection. And even if you talk about it from kind of the low-hanging fruit scenario of technology itself impacting mental health, social media impacting mental health. Like, even if you talk about it from that standpoint, but from the standpoint of emotional or trying to be innovative or divergent thinker, innovation and divergent thinking take extra capacity. It takes extra emotional capacity, brain capacity. This is one of the reasons why I believe that teachers became so burnt out over the course of the pandemic. It was because they had different kinds of work that they were trying to catch up from something that was just, do things that were just not made to be done in the way that we were teaching online with the pandemic teaching. But also from the standpoint of they were being asked to do all those things and being asked to be innovative every day while also dealing with the pandemic and also dealing with new teaching and also dealing with technology that they hadn't used. And so it was that there was more work, but it was actually that we were asking them to work in a capacity they no longer had, especially if they had family members that were sick or dying, and you start to put in some of these things. So the first thing that I would say is, try to find ways to give yourself more mental and emotional capacity to be able to think that way. That would be the first piece of that. And that's why right now, even right now, it's really difficult for teachers to be innovative and lean into coaching and all of those types of things, because they're just not in a space to be able to do that. They're trying to figure out who they are after a pandemic.
Agreed.
They just, for some people especially, they really just don't know. And so that would be my recommendation right at this moment. Typically I would say if we were in kind of a, I don't know, quote unquote, normal time, whatever that is, if we were in a time that we had been out of the pandemic for a while and we found some sort of rhythm in education again, I would say it would be, to try new things and risk take and talk to your instructional coaches and like all of these types of things. But we're just not in that space right now.
Agreed.
Yeah, like Monica said, my innovation capacity is nil when I'm not feeling good in my life. And that's, I do a keynote on curiosity that has kind of that same idea. Curiosity, studies have shown that being curious can actually impact your mental health in a positive way. It gives you feelings of pleasure. It gives you positive feelings. But curiosity is also very much like innovation. You need extra capacity to feel curious. Like, even if somebody says to you, curiosity makes you feel happy, you still have to have that piece, that extra capacity to be able to do that. And a lot of times in my consulting, I'll have people say to me, how do I make teachers more innovative? And I'm always like, you don't make anybody do anything. You have to give them the capacity to make room for that. And if you don't, they actually can't do it. You are asking them to do something they cannot do. And so that's kind of what Divergent EDU was all about, where you pulled those out of, is how do we build space for teachers to be able to think that way. I think it's important to note I'm still working on my shoe.
Even though some of these are kind of hard to draw, there are a lot to really think about, and I like that.
They are, and it's really, yeah, I'm really trying to think of, like, I keep thinking of like the bucket with trauma and things like that, and that really is kind of like what you're talking about with capacity to some extent. Not to say that, I do think that educators have gone through some degree of trauma, with the whole pandemic and things like that, depending on how, like, what I imagine is the bucket, right? How big our bucket was versus small. And making room in that bucket for it to be filled, right, Mandy? Is what has to happen so that we can then be innovative, right?
Right. Yeah. And there's, so we're just in a really weird spot right now. Like, people, I think that we've lost the, how can I put this? There's like a feeling of not knowing what way to turn in order to be able to get help. And that's in a lot of different ways. Like I was just talking with a group of teachers I was working with in a school, and I read off all of the symptoms of burnout. And they were like, check. And I said, but you really have to, like, you have to do your research. You have to go into the doctor. You have to talk to people. You have to make sure you get your body tested for things. I said, because honestly, 98% of the symptoms of burnout are also symptoms of menopause. Like there are a million different reasons things could be happening. And when you start to feel a certain way, you grab on to the first thing that you hear, and you're like, oh, well, I must be burnt out. That could be the case, but it also could be something medically that you need to get in for and you need to get checked for. Or it could be, something entirely different. Could be, another example would be, one of the things that can induce a depressive episode is a lack of vitamin D. There's also, links from depression to being dehydrated. And so you really need to, I think people are just looking for answers, and they're grabbing on to the first things that they see because they don't have the help and support, and they don't have the capacity to look any further. They don't have the capacity to be curious. They don't have the capacity to ask people questions. And I think that that's a little bit of a space that we're in right now with mental health.
I have a precarious stack of books over here from the class that I teach right before I do Doodle and Chat. And I can hear it creaking. It's getting ready to crash and burn. Like I keep trying to rearrange it so it doesn't. If we hear a big crash, it's because all of my books fell off.
All right. Do you have another question in there, kiddo?
Your passion for horses is something that you have had your whole life. Where does your passion for horses come from, and what makes a great horse?
Oh my gosh, how did you guys even know that?
We just do good research.
Okay, so let's see. I don't know. So when I was a kid, I wanted a pony like most kids do. And my grandparents had quarter horses at one point, and they were long gone by that time. So I would beg for a pony and beg for a pony. No, I wasn't getting a pony. So one day, my uncle wasn't very much older than me, and I was chasing him around the house, like kids do. And my grandmother had a bi-level house. And so when you ran down the stairs from upstairs, you ran right out the front door. And her front door had one of those flip locks on it that you have to push it to get out. And he ran out the door, and I ran down the stairs and went to go after him. He shut the door behind him. I went to hit the flip lock, and I went through the window. I missed it, went through the window. So I had a cast. I have stitches all over my hand. I have a cast all the way up my arm. That was how I got my pony. My grandma felt so bad about my arm and what happened that she bought me a pony. That is a true story. So So I was totally hooked on horses after that. And when I got into high school, I begged and begged and begged for a horse, and I got one. He was amazing. His name was Dakota. And then when I got married and had kids, we just, like types of things that fall off from your childhood. But lately, I'm going to get another horse. And so I've been working on clearing my schedule and I've got a boarding facility ready. I'm looking at horses. And so it's something I'm going to get back to. I'm really excited about it. But it came with one of those realizations that I had been talking for a really long time about working less, about having better boundaries for myself. And I had been talking about it for years and not really doing it. And just kind of felt like it was time that I better put my money where my mouth is and start to find, ways to take care of myself. And so I stopped working quite as much, and I, kind of did that piece of it. And then I found myself just sitting on the couch because I didn't know what to do with myself. And I can't doodle and chat every single night. And so, Dancing with the Stars is only on once a week, and otherwise I'm just sitting there. So one day I was like, I'm going to buy a horse, and horsing is what I'm going to do from now on. So that's where we are.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. And it goes along with the Reignite comment that you made as well, too.
Yeah.
The advice you gave.
Yeah. And, it's, I really did try to work on my self-care when I realized how important self-care actually was. But it's been quite a few years, and I feel like I was not practicing what I was preaching. Mm-hmm. I was taught, and I kept telling myself, but you're trying. You're working on it. Like, you're still finding things out. At some point in time, trying's got to stop. At some point in time, you actually have to do something. And so one day I was like, all right, this is it. I'm going to cut way back on the work that I do. And it's actually felt really good to not rely so hard on finding my value in how much I give back to others, and instead just like finding my value for who I am instead. And so I'm super excited to find my horse again.
That's wonderful. Love that. All right, you ready for another question, Kenneth?
You joke that you lived most of your life outside of your comfort zone. What is the best thing that living outside your comfort zone has given you?
Well, I don't know if it's the best thing, but it's definitely giving me anxiety. Like every day of my life. I think that, experiences like this, right? Totally outside of my comfort zone. I'm still working on my shoe. My donkey is kind of pathetic, but I'm having a really fantastic time. And
can we go back to my donkey that looks like he has probably rabies? Like,
well, he does look like he's crossed with a giraffe. So
you can't say anything because I have a rabbit donkey. So.
I don't know. I mean, like, living outside my comfort zone has done a lot of things for me. It's the reason I do what I do. Had I not been willing to, kind of the infamous conversation about being afraid to public speak and still doing it, like, none of the experiences I would have as a professional would have come to fruition had I not been willing, even as a teenager, to put myself in really uncomfortable positions. And so I think that being that way, especially discovering as I get older that I'm actually an introvert that just like presents as an extrovert, like that has been really powerful too, because it's actually explained a lot of my feelings over the course of my life. And, you know, I was joking with some friends of mine, and this is not at all true, but when I first found out, I was joking with them. I'm like, it explains so much why I will talk to you, but I hate it the entire time I'm doing it. You know, it's it like small talk drives me crazy, and I have to be away from people in order to recharge. And yet I don't mind actually talking to people. Like, I love it. I love having those conversations, but conferences are difficult, and you know, and even social media can be really difficult for people like, you know, who are like me, those kind of introverts who, because people still want to talk to you on social media, and I don't think that they understand that that still takes your energy, that still draws energy from you, even if it's online.
Yeah.
So so I think that kind of putting myself outside the box actually means, for me, it's like taking risks and also like leaning into that, what feels extroverted to me, in order to be able to be a part of social situations that as an introvert, I might not actually put myself in, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It does, totally. Are we ready for another one, Mandy?
We're
Whenever
ready.
you are.
Oh,
both Mandy's are ready.
Oh, sorry. Whichever one.
You both are ready, I say. Yes.
Yeah.
We hear you are a lover of all things paranormal. What is your most memorable paranormal experience or favorite paranormal story?
Oh, goodness. Friends. I could go on and on about this. How much time do we only have? 8 minutes? I don't know if that's enough time. Yes, I do love all things paranormal. I think that I seem to have a lot of paranormal things that happen to me. One of them is when I was a kid, my house was haunted. And so things would happen like you'd be sitting in the living room and you would see somebody walking up and down the stairs, and you would hear, like, we had a loose floorboard upstairs, and so it would go like thump, boom, like if somebody walked over it, you'd hear like step, step, thump, boom, step, step, and it would be upstairs. I'd be home alone and I'd be watching the kids, and doors would be slamming. Like, I'd be babysitting for my sisters and brothers, and doors would be slamming and opening and closing. And the one time I was babysitting, and the computer was off, but the printer was on, and it was one of those printers that like went back and forth.
Uh-huh.
Like
Old matrix.
Yeah. And it just started printing stuff for no reason. And I unplugged it, and it continued to print stuff. And it wasn't printing any words or anything. It was just kind of like gobbledygook, but it didn't matter. It continued to print. It was, I mean, like, we just had all the things happening. Things would disappear all the time. Like, you know, you put something somewhere and you'd go back and it wouldn't be there anymore. And I've had a lot of experiences like that throughout the course of my life. So I don't know if I'm haunted or every house I've ever lived in is haunted, which seems unlikely, but I seem to attract the paranormal. So
maybe you're just really open to it.
Yes, that could be too. That could be too. We have my current house. We also have issues all the time. And so you'll hear a woman screaming from our basement. And this is not just me, like, my kids hear it. Everybody hears it. You know, we had my daughter caught on video, like our door handles jiggling when nobody else was home, and things will come flying off shelves, and it's crazy. Yeah, it's I think if I ever saw anything with my eyes, like you catch things out of the corner of your eye all the time, you know, like shadows or whatever, like you'll catch it out of the corner. I think if I ever saw somebody standing outside the shower door, I'd be gone. Like there would be nothing keeping me there. But, you know, even my husband is a complete skeptic and doesn't believe anything. And, you know, he said to me the one day, he goes, I heard a woman talking to me this morning and I answered her because I thought she was you. And then I realized that nobody was there and he was having a conversation with a woman that was not me. And, you know, nobody was there. So it's crazy.
You're very brave. I don't know. I don't even think my children would sleep in their own beds if that happened in our house.
I can tell you probably the scariest thing that's actually happened in our house is happened to my son. He was home and he was sleeping and he was in his bed and he was rolled over kind of toward, like he was facing the middle of his bed, and he opened his eyes and there was a face there staring back at him as he opened his eyes. And he said he jumped up and grabbed his phone and like shined it all over his bed, but it was gone. And but he said he saw there was like something like just right in his face staring at him. Another skeptic, doesn't really believe in it, but he's like, I can't deny that there was a face sitting there staring at me. So
Beth is giving the trippiest look. She's like, never, mother. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
I put that you were a ghost magnet.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah, that would actually, that's probably a pretty good description.
That does it. Perfectly describes it.
Yeah. But I really want to do one of those actual ghost, like I want to go to something overnight and do an actual ghost hunt. I think that would be a blast. So I'd probably come home with one, but
bring some more back. Hey,
yeah.
This is a party at our house. Come on in.
All are welcome here.
Yeah.
That's right.
They need friends.
Hey, this is actually where Beetlejuice lives, so just come on in.
Yeah.
We just have the door right there to the other side. Just come on in.
Portal, here. Whenever.
Yeah.
Get there how you can.
All right, we have time for one more?
I think we can
room for one more.
I think we squeeze one more in.
Okay.
Annabeth is just done. Mandy brings her out.
No.
I'm sorry, honey. None of that's true. I was just lying.
Hey, it's just at Mandy's house. Just don't go visit her. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, this is a perfect one to end on. I pulled it. There's Big Mo, and is it Kaya or Kaya?
Kaya,
and now Princess Leia.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite or best puppy or dog mama tip for any of those other puppy mamas out there?
Yeah, we're actually missing one. There's one more. There's a golden retriever named Jersey.
Sorry.
I don't know. I don't know if I have any good recommendations because our last puppy, her name is Leia, but we call her Demon because she is the demon dog from hell. And I can't. She looks like an angel. She looks like a baby seal. Like if you pull her ears back, she looks like a baby seal. She's a white golden retriever. She is absolutely a gorgeous dog. Like such a cute puppy. And she is an absolute demon child. Like I don't know what to do with this dog. She's getting a little bit better, but I would say that probably my best suggestion is that when I was younger and I used to have dogs, I was so concerned about making sure they were like, they knew all their tricks and, you know, they were well behaved with other people, and all of that stuff is true. But what I realized over time was that I spent so much time trying to make them good dogs that I didn't pay attention to just like loving them, which probably sounds silly, but it's almost like the idea of being in the moment with your animals as much as you're in the moment with anything else. And so I think I just found over time that with our last couple dogs, and my Big Mo is actually my dog. She's a Saint Bernard. With, you know, our last few dogs, I've gotten a little lax on the tricks, and I just make sure that I spend lots of time cuddling with them now. So, but I think that's something you find as you get older, you know, like some of those things just don't seem as important anymore, and instead just enjoying them does.
I like that. Kind of wraps things up perfectly with all the other things that you said about reigniting and mental and emotional capacity, you know?
Yeah.
Just finding a different perspective on things and reassessing what's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Mandy, you survived Doodle and Chat.
I did. Do you want to see mine?
Too?
Yeah.
She's showing it.
See mine? It's just a little doodle. Like I was just sitting there and I'm like, oh, I think I'll draw this person. And, you know, just did that in an hour with all of my.
No big.
Yeah. Like,
I don't think
biggie.
I saw the
Whatever.
Mary Jane shoe in there, though.
Oh, she's wearing it. You just can't see it. It's on the bottom.
Oh, okay. It was in there. It was in there.
All right, can you?
Yeah, that's all the further I got was my donkey and my shoe. So I spent all the time on the other picture.
Can you just remove the pictures? Thank you, darling. All right, friends. Mandy, thank you so much for being a part of Doodle and Chat with Friends. If you were here with us, you drew with us, be sure to snap a picture of your Doodle and Chat and share it out on Twitter or Instagram using hashtag Doodle and Chat, and then join me and Mandy back here next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for our next episode of Doodle and Chat. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.